Hey scholars, it's Miss Van Buren. I am here today to walk you through the virtual inquiry. That is for day Wednesday in the district packet. If you don't have the district packet, a hard copy like I do, you can follow along with us just using a regular sheet of notebook paper, or you can look at the lab sheet I uploaded on our Canvas course. So I'm going to go over our goal of today's activity, which is to simulate some structural adaptations and an invasive species. And that's what we've been talking about this week. So I have some materials in front of me. I have a cup, my small objects. I chose marshmallows because that's what I had in my cabinet. I have one spoon and one fork that came right from the Conway Elementary cafeteria. And those are going to be my utensils that I'm using. And I have my pen for my lab sheet and my actual lab sheet. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the directions. You will work on an inquiry activity that will allow you to investigate physical structure adaptations as well as invasive species. For this activity, you will need some small objects, got my marshmallows, that you will be trying to collect with different utensils. Other materials needed are fork, spoon, and cup. The small objects represent food, and the utensils represent different adaptations animals have in nature, okay? We're gonna make a prediction. Do you believe the fork or the spoon will collect the most objects into the cup and why? So now would be a good time to pause the video, make your prediction. Spoon will get more, fork will get more, but make sure you tell me why. All right, hopefully you pause the video to make your prediction. And now I'm gonna read through the procedures for part one. There's 2 parts in this investigation. So, we're going to scatter the small objects into one location on the ground. I used a plate, so it's easier for me to clean up. And because I have dogs running around, I don't want them to get any marshmallows. Take one of the utensils, spoon or fork, and 1 cup. You'll get 30 seconds to try and collect as many objects using your utensils only to place them in the cup. So I can't use my hands. I can't like dump the plate or tilt the cup or anything like that. I cannot scoop them. I have to pick them up with my utensil and drop them into the cup. If they fall somewhere along the table, they don't count. They have to make it inside the cup. When the 30 seconds is up, you will count all the objects in your cup and record it in the data table. Repeat steps 1 through 4 with the other utensil. So I'm going to start with the spoon just because I have it in my hand. 30 seconds, here we go. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, starting now.
All right, starting now. Already flung a marshmallow on the table. That's okay. I'm trying to go fast, but it seems if I go fast, they just fly out of the spoon. Don't want to use my hand. Alexa, stop. Okay, so that was 30 seconds. As you can see, I almost filled up the entire cup with the spoon as my utensil. I did make a little bit of a mess, but I will deal with that. I am now going to count these so you can follow along with me at home. If you're gonna do this, you can use the spoon now as I count these, but I'll be right back to show you how many marshmallows I have. Okay, after counting, I had 72 marshmallows using my spoon as the utensil inside my cup. So I'm going to write where it says spoon, 72. Okay, that is the data that I'm going to keep track of. Now, if we are going to do this as a true lab, remember we would want to do this repeatedly. We need to have at least 3 repeated trials in order for our data to be valid, but since this is just an inquiry activity, I'm only going to do it once on the video. So now it says to repeat these steps with the next utensil, which is the fork. So I'm going to make sure my cup is in the same spot, and I'm going to apply the same rules. The marshmallows are on the plate. I have to scoop with the utensil and place them in the cup using just the fork. All right, I got 30 seconds. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds. Okay, so already I'm noticing a difference. The marshmallows seem to just slide right off. I have one that's now stuck. Oh, it went off. okay. It's a little bit more difficult. I'm still trying to scoop, but they seem to be falling off. That's okay. I'm gonna persevere. That was a good one. I got 3 of them on that try. Alexa, stop. Okay, so already I notice a big difference in the amount of marshmallows that I have collected. I have only collected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 marshmallows. So I'm definitely gonna record that in my table. And I notice a huge difference between these 2 utensils. So some of the questions for part 1 that I ask says, what utensil helped you collect the most objects? How does this activity relate to what naturally occurs with animals? And think about the group that collected the fewest objects, or the utensil that collected the fewest. How might this utensil or organism in nature avoid extinction due to this complication? So I know that my spoon collected more, and this reminds me kind of like a beak, almost like a bird beak, because I'm scooping up the food and whatnot. So a spoon is great for this type of food, but I wonder if I introduce another type of food that might be better for the fork, if that animal might be able to survive better. A fork is a great utensil. I know that if I'm eating pasta, I would rather use a fork than a spoon. So how might the data change if I was collecting pasta noodles using these same utensils? So think about that, discuss that, and go ahead and pause the video to answer those 3 questions. Okay, there are 2 parts to this lab. So I'm going to read the procedures for the second part. I'm going to put my utensils over here, still have my cup in the same spot. It says scatter the small objects again in the same location as part 1. They're still here. You will get 30 seconds to collect all of the small objects. However, this time you can use your hands. Your hands will act as an invasive species. There are no rules for part 2 on how you can collect the small objects. When the 30 seconds is up, you will count all of the objects in your cup and record the data in your table. So already, if you make a prediction, which one do you think is going to get more? Let's go ahead and start the timer. Alexa, start a timer for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, starting now.
Okay, so already I can use my hand to pick up the ones I spilled. I think I'm gonna run out of room in my cup. I don't even think I would need 30 seconds. Push some down. Good thing I chose marshmallows. All right, well, there you go. The 30 seconds is not up. I have every single marshmallow in the cup. So I'm gonna pause this. Alexa, stop the timer to count how many marshmallows I have, and I'll be right back to let you know. Okay, after counting that, my hands were able to collect all 321 marshmallows that are in my plate, or on my plate, and so that didn't even take me 30 seconds either. So let's go ahead and go over the questions to see how we're gonna think about our answers. Were you able to collect more objects using your hands compared to the utensils? What would be the long-term effect of having this invasive species in this habitat? So let's think about if my hand was an animal, the spoon was an animal, and the fork was an animal, and this was the only food in this habitat. Obviously, my hand would be able to get more food than both the spoon and the fork. Out of the spoon and the fork, the spoon would probably survive a lot better because it could still scoop and it was an appropriate amount. But imagine if more hands lived in this habitat, it wouldn't leave enough food for everybody to have an amount to survive. So invasive species definitely have effects on our environment. One of the things, how could our fork survive? Well, it could move to a different, less occupied habitat. It could change its diet. It could figure out different things to eat instead of these pastas. There's lots of food for thought here in this lab if you really think about what we just did. So I would like to give you guys some time to go over your lab sheet again, take a look at all of the data you recorded, your predictions, answer those questions, and hopefully you learned something from this lab. Remember, you can do this at home. You don't have to use marshmallows. You can use any kind of cup. You can scatter on the ground. You could also have a competition where you do it with a family member and they're using the fork and you're using the spoon, and you can see who gathers the most. Or you could do it with 3, an invasive species like the hand. Maybe your brother or sister's the hand, mom or dad, grandma and grandpa is the spoon, and you're the fork, and see who gets the most. There's lots of ways this inquiry can be changed. If you have any questions, remember, just send me an email or give me a call, and I hope you guys enjoyed this virtual lab inquiry. Bye.